A brand new single prize deck might be coming out in Obsidian Flames, and it could be the best single prize deck we have seen since Lost Box. And no, I'm not talking about a new Lost Box variant, some deck that just has one new card in it that could change how Lost Box slightly plays, like Zamazenta or Kyogre. No, I'm talking about an entirely new archetype, and that archetype is Palafin. Yes, Palafin is a brand new Stage 1 Pokemon coming out in Obsidian Flames, and it does 210 damage for 2 energies. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game early deck tech. Today we're looking at Palafin. I've had my eye on this card ever since it was revealed as one of our pre-release promos about a month ago, and I've honestly just fell in love with the idea of this card and wanted to make it work as best I can. It's got 150 HP, water type, and for 1 energy, it's got the Jet Punch attack, which many of you may recognize from Buzzwole GX, which does 30 to the active and 30 to the bench. But the best attack on this Pokemon is Justice Kick for 210 damage, only costing 2 water energy. The only caveat to that is you have to move from the bench to the active spot in order for the attack to do any damage at all. But that's really not that hard right now. We have so many switching cards available to us that I think Palafin could actually be a reasonably strong Pokemon in the in the TCG. It could actually be its own single prize deck. So what does the deck look like? Well, we have 4 Finizen, 4 Palafin, and for Finizen we have 3 of the, of the normal one with 90 HP, and 1 of the Courageous Evolution one. And now this one has 50 HP, but it has the attack Courageous Evolution, which will, let us switch this Pokemon to the bench and put a Palafin on top of it to end our turn. So basically an Ascension attack, which I think is actually really strong, especially if you're going second, if you lost the coin flip, you get Finizen into the active, you use Courageous Evolution, and you get a Palafin out very easily without having to waste any of your other resources. So we have a 4-4 line of Finizen and Palafin, and we also have a 1-1 line of Bidoof and Bibarel, so we can be a little bit Iono proof, and we can draw some cards throughout the game. Now we also have a Radiant Greninja in here, which is going to help us do the same thing with that concealed cards ability. We discard a water energy, draw 2 cards. We also have 1 Manaphy in here, which will protect our single prize little basic Pokemon against our other Radiant Greninjas or against other spread decks, or snipe decks I should say. And we also have 1 Lumineon V in here, which I really like because it gives us access to any supporter in the world, and it's Irida fetchable, so we can chain supporters very easily. So I think that Lumineon V is a very good call in this deck. And now the last 2 Pokemon we have in this deck are 2 copies of Cyclizar. And you may be thinking, I've never seen this card in my life before. What does it do? Well, on the surface, it doesn't do anything special. It's got the Touring attack, which lets you draw 2 cards for a single energy. It's got 110 HP. It's nothing crazy. But the best part of Cyclizar is its retreat cost is 0. So we can, Justice Kick and then switch into Cyclizar the next turn and retreat with Cyclizar for free, and then do Justice Kick 1 more time, packing a big punch and doing 210 damage over and over and over and over, turn after turn after turn after turn, which I really like in this deck. So we're playing 2 of those Cyclizar to round out our Pokemon lineup. And now in terms of supporters, we are rocking 4 Irida, because Irida is just such a good supporter. You can search your deck for a water Pokemon and an item card, reveal them, put them into your hand. Gotta love Irida. Irida's awesome. We also are playing 3 copies of Iono to help disrupt our opponent's hand a little bit, as well as 2 copies of Boss's Orders, so we can boss up potential Lumineons or Genesects or any other support Pokemon on the bench that might be worth 2 prizes, and it might be easy for Palafin to knock out. Now we also have 2 copies of Raihan in here, so we can accelerate energy to our knocked out, or from our knocked out Palafins, and search our deck for any card that we want, like a switching card, for example, or maybe something like a EXP share, so we can save that energy the next turn and loop an attack again. We have 2 of those EXP shares in this deck, as well as 1 copy of Forest Seal Stone to round out our Pokemon tool lineup. And because we're playing a couple Pokemon tools, we are playing 1 copy of Arven in here, which will let us search our deck for an item card and a Pokemon tool. Now we're also playing 4 Battle VIP passes that we can search via Irida or via Arven to help us get set up very easily on the if we go second for our first turn. It's our first turn going second. You know what I mean. We also have, 4 Ultra Ball to help us search out our Pokemon, and 2 Nest Ball to help us put more basics right onto the bench. And now for items, we don't have too many more. We basically got 1 Lost Vacuum to help get rid of some stadiums that might not be that might be helping our opponent a little too much, might be blocking up our Lumineon from working, and 2 Super Rods to help us recover our knocked out Palafins, Finizons, and Energy. And now we also have 1 Heavy Ball, so we can get Greninja, Manaphy, Bidoof, Lumineon, a bunch of stuff from the prizes, as well as, I think I mentioned we have 4 copies of Switch in here, and 2 copies of Escape Rope to help us efficiently move in and out of the active spot. Now, in terms of energy, we're rocking 8 Water Energy in this deck, and 2 Reversal Energy. Reversal Energy is a new card. It's been seeing quite a bit of play in Gardevoir decks, but if you don't know what it does, you can attach it to any Pokemon, and it provides colorless energy, unless you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. Then, if this card is attached to a non-Rulebox evolution, like Palafin, and you're behind on prizes, it provides 3 of any energy. So you can use 1 Reversal Energy on Palafin, and boom, you're going to be doing Justice Kick, as long as you're behind on prizes, for 210 damage for 1 attachment, which is incredible. So this is basically rounding off my list here. I really like it. I haven't tested it much, I won't lie to you, but I think that the list is a very solid baseline for what a Palafin list should look like. I was thinking of maybe trying to add some cross switchers in here. I think cross switcher is a very underrated card. In general right now, not too many decks are making use of it at the moment, but I mean, granted, not a lot of decks have the room, but a deck like Palafin could make the room, and you could play it with like Pokestops, and you could play it with like Pokegears to search your supporters throughout the deck pretty quickly, and just create a big, like, fast to draw deck. Now, I was looking at Justin Basil's list that is on the website, the Justin Basil website, that is, and I was, they had trekking shoes in their list, and I was debating keeping the trekking shoes in here, and ultimately I decided it wasn't worth it, because I wanted to put in that Bibarel line. I wanted there to be a little bit of Iono proofing for this deck. I wanted to put in a couple of other tech cards that can come in handy, especially in a deck with Irida, with Raihan, with Arven, with Lumineon. Like, we have so much direct search, I'll call it, where we can play a card and search for something specifically instead of just drawing cards, that I think that we don't really need the trekking shoes to help us draw more cards over and over and over. But we'll have to see how it goes. I'm going to be testing this deck in some tabletop matches against my good friend Mitch and Chicken and Luigi, so they're going to be helping me out, and we're going to be making some awesome tabletop content for Obsidian Flames, so be sure that you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that if you want to see this Palafin deck, this same 60 with maybe minor changes, in action on the tabletop. I'm very excited to record it, and I'm very excited to upload it for you, all the viewers. And now, that is basically it for the deck list here. I mean, there's not too much I would rather change. Like I said, could consider putting in like trekking shoes, Pokestop, cross switcher, and just have a very fast drawing deck. You wouldn't need bosses, you wouldn't need what's it called? You wouldn't need a lot of things. Like, you probably wouldn't play Lumineon, you probably wouldn't play Arven, you probably wouldn't play a couple of things. So you could try and just mill your deck really quick and get exactly what you need, just from drawing really quickly. But, I opted to go for a more methodical route, which kind of is a little bit more teched out and just stops your opponent from disrupting you like once, like from hitting you with a Roxanne, and then you can't play the game anymore. Like, stuff like that is kind of where I don't want to, I think this deck will falter, and I kind of wanted to prevent that with this iteration of the list. And speaking of this list, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Let me know what you like about it, what you dislike, what would you keep, and what would you change, and what do you think of Palafin in general as a card? I'm very excited for this card. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play, but, we'll have to see exactly what happens with it in the coming weeks when Obsidian Flames drops, because that's going to be very soon. So, what do you think of Palafin? What do you think of the deck? And let me know down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. I'm posting 2 or more new Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. And if you like the Pokemon trading card game, I think you better subscribe to the channel, because that's all we talk about here on the Hitmonchan channel is the Pokemon trading card game. And with all that said and done, thank you all so much for watching. Hitmonchanning out.